good morning, everyone. Good morning. You're probably wondering why the Oneida County Executive is giving greetings in Onondaga County. I am doing so on behalf of my good friend and partner in government, Joni Mahoney, the county executive, who was unable to be with us this morning, and asked if I would, on behalf of our association and Onondaga County in Central New York, although I am a Central New Yorker because Oneida County, we're right next door, we're not far away, and I see some friends in the audience, and it's good to be here with all of you today. And so I bring greetings on behalf of Onondaga County and Joni, and I bring greetings from Oneida County, and I also bring greetings from the County Executives Association and the New York State Association of Counties, who you're going to hear more of later on, or more from later on with our director, Steve Aquario. And I want to thank the other boards that are here and all of you for coming today. As David said, this is really historic in terms of the summit that is being held here this day, that these four groups are coming together, I believe for the first time in the public type setting like this, at a summit where all four groups, the School Boards Association, the New York State Association of Counties, the New York State Conference of Mayors, coming together to look at and to work together as we have. And I think that gets lost sometimes because we all work together. I know in my county and throughout this state, in my work on NYSAC, on the NYSAC board, and with so many others, that we've worked very well together, the cities, the towns, the school boards. We look at ways in which this municipal exchange that is so important, that we have been at the forefront of. I believe all of us, each organization, each level of government has really been there. And we continue to look at ways to provide a better service at the lowest possible cost with the most efficiencies that we can do. And today's really presents a chance for us to expand upon that, to look at best practices, to look at other ways in which these innovations can come to fruition in ways that we didn't think of in the past. We continue to all learn from each other, as we know that the governments that are closest to the people, all of us, the four groups that are represented here today, are the closest governments to the people in any state, any nation, in terms of reaching into the real direct services that people look for each and every day. And that's what we do in our roles, in our roles in county government. I know in the roles of mayors and cities, and the roles of towns and supervisors, and obviously the roles of school boards, and dealing with the educational aspect of our children and everyone that comes through each and all of our doors. So we have some things that we have so much more in common than is different. And I know that in ways that's preaching to the choir, telling you things you already know. But I think it's important, and it's important for us to tell that story statewide, nationwide, that innovation is taking place, and we can expand that innovation as we learn from each other here today. And there are some things that we've been doing, and it's really when you look at individual counties, working with towns, working with cities, working with school districts, and everything internally in that regard. And those of us who have done that. We work very well with our townships on a variety of shared services and consolidation and plowing of roads and other areas that we do, that we fund and pay them for that service so that we can concentrate in other areas, reduce our costs, help them as they're out there doing the work that they do for those townships. And again, it works in both ways. It saves everybody money, and it keeps the system going. There are other things that we have been doing internally within our counties, but I'd like to talk about something we've done externally outside of the counties. And sometimes I think we lose sight of that shared services, the consolidations, or whatever way you want to look at it, and innovation can be done across county lines. Just recently, about a little over, it's been over a year now, just about almost a year and a half, my county, Oneida County, was involved in a very antiquated, what I believe was an antiquated and inefficient system of a coroner system, in which the coroners that were elected individuals, but had no accountability, no office per se, no oversight, no regulations other than declaring persons deceased at scenes of either an accident, a crime, or in hospital settings, depending on what it would be. Now, that's not something that you would, it's not the most glamorous area to look at, but it is an essential area. It's an essential area of service for law enforcement, for prosecution, and most importantly for families as we deal with those tragedies. And the cost was just exorbitant, and the record keeping was lax, and the overall efficiencies and the overall accountability and accessibility to records and continuum just caused us problems. So we looked at how do we fix this? Well, the coroner system is a very antiquated system around the country. The long story short was we looked across county lines. Onondaga County has been in the forefront of forensic pathology for a number of years with their center here in terms of their medical examiner office. And I reached out to County Executive Joni Mahoney, as I mentioned, and we work very well together, and said, is there a way that you can help us look at this as we go forward? And the long and short of it was that, the long story short, to get to the point, we now contract. We eliminated, it was a very heated, if you've ever tried to eliminate elected officials' positions, it's very difficult. You can ask me about it. And I went through that. It was very contentious in my county. It wasn't something, even though it's something that's not a service that people deal with every day, but some do. But it was a service in which we looked at it to be more efficient, more accountable, and more cost efficient, and really something innovative. And so we entered into an agreement with Onondaga County to perform and to be the Oneida County medical examiner, if you will, on a contract basis. Really was a seamless undertaking. I mean, after all of the pieces got dealt with in terms of the contract, but everything is still coordinated out of Oneida County through our health department, but in conjunction with the Onondaga Medical Examiner's Office. The initial reaction was how's this going to work, because they're so far away from the county seat, which is Utica, New York, to Syracuse is about 52 miles. But Oneida County is much larger than that in terms of its overall size, and from one end of the county to the other, it could be even more depending on where the issue was. But law enforcement responded immediately and grasped onto this prosecution. The overall hospitals, everyone has now seen a system that where everyone thought it was going to be very, very cumbersome, convoluted, and confusing. It smoothed right out in a year and a half. You would think we had had this in place forever. So those are the kind of things that we look at. Rather than reinventing, we looked at what reinventing and putting together our own examiner, our medical examiner office would have been. And just the startup alone was in the range of a facility somewhere between, in terms of the building, and you all know what buildings cost, but in terms of equipping a facility was in the neighborhood of $2.5 to $3 million, not to mention what personnel costs were. For around 600,000 and change, we have a contract in which all of those services are provided. So we look at ways in county government to be more efficient, to look at ways to provide a better service. It doesn't often come easy in terms of the the politics or the issues that go along with it, but nonetheless, it's about making the right choices for our people. So we've been doing it. We've all been doing it together. And as I said when I started, we have much more in common than our differences are. And so there are ways that we can look at things. And that's what today is, again, to go back to what we're here for. I mean, I use that example because I think it's relevant in terms of what counties have looked at in terms of looking across county lines, not just within our counties individually and in between our cities and towns and villages, et cetera, but we can look at ways that we can do things really across all of our state and working together. So today is really an opportunity for us to continue that dialogue, to expand it, to look at ways that we can be more efficient, and to really show this entire New York community that we work together well. We have the same goals in mind to provide the best service to our people. That's what we do each and every day. We're the best at it. We know that. We all are, because we're closest to the people, and we continue to do that each and every day. So you're going to hear more examples from at least from NYSEG's. You know, I can speak on behalf of NYSEG's perspective as a board member, but from our president, Mark Alger, from Steuben County, who's going to speak later on and tell you more about what counties across this state have been doing with many of you in the towns, many of you in the cities, and the school boards. So we look forward to that. Is any of this easy? No, it's not, but it's working. We're working together, and we're thinking, and again, not to overuse the phrase thinking outside the box, but that's what it's about. So again, let me welcome you here today. Thank you for taking time out of all of your busy schedules to really come together in an effort to continue this great working relationship that these four associations have with each other. I look forward to working with you and to hearing more of what comes out of today that we can expand, and look forward to move this throughout New York State. Thank you for your time here today.